We spent 2 nights investigating the haunted Hill House, one of America's most infamous paranormal hotspots. Using the latest and cutting-edge paranormal investigation technology, we set out to investigate the terrifying claims at the haunted Hill House to discover, are they in fact paranormal? Or could they be explained away by something a bit more natural? We do a deep dive into the house, an evidence review, and whether you're a skeptic or believer, our findings will challenge everything you think you know about the paranormal. Established between 1880 and 1890, the history of the haunted Hill House is, well, complicated. In its early days, it was thought to have been a makeshift hospital, a brothel, and a bootlegging opportunity from visitors of the nearby Baker Hotel. Traditional research from us has shown no known documented deaths inside of the home, but it doesn't mean that there weren't unreported deaths, especially during the times of the brothel from the home. The believed history from the owners is dark, and so dark that we can't share it with you on this channel. But what we do know is that there was recent occult activity from one of the previous owners, and that activity is thought to have triggered significant paranormal activity inside of the home. The house also sits atop of some of the wells that reside in mineral wells, and the hill just behind the home is thought to house abandoned mines, also potentially triggering the paranormal activity inside of the home. With this perfect recipe for the paranormal in place, the current owners, the Estes family, have set up a paranormal research center inside of this home, and I'll tell you, it's second to none. The house itself is 5 beds, 4 baths, and a kitchen that also serves as a makeshift command center. It is loaded with paranormal equipment, so whether you are an amateur or a more experienced ghost hunter, this house is a perfect setup loaded with gear for you to get an optimal experience. But is the story and the stage a bit too convincing? Is it set up a bit too much to truly have this much paranormal activity that other investigators have seemed to have had? That's what our investigation will hope to find out. The Haunted Hill House has drawn some of the most renowned paranormal investigative teams in the entire world. The list of television shows and YouTube channels that have covered the house is extensive, and it's easy to see why. The chilling paranormal activity that has been captured seems to be endless and includes countless EVPs, physical altercations, and even photographic documentation of what is believed to be a demon by the name of Toby. The mentioned physical altercations, at least at the time that we were at the home, included over 800 scratches and a long list of medical conditions that were believed to be new by investigators after leaving the home. And I can even tell you, I had experiences once I came home from this house that I'll share with you at the end of this video. Amateur enthusiasts and professional investigators alike describe the activity inside of the home as unnerving and truly chilling. But as we prepared for our own investigation, we started to see some patterns in the activity that was captured inside of the home. Some of it almost seemed too good to be true, and almost even predictable. Loud, unexplained bangs coming from the second floor.
Oh my God,
Joshua, did you like being in this?
It's a girl that grew up in this house from the mid-90s to 2010. What the hell?
Or activation of some of the gimmick devices that are set up as a part of the haunted attraction aspect of the home that would seem to go off at opportune times.
Get the fuck out of here. How did that go off?
What set it off?
What the hell?
What was playing?
No one was in here.
And that's not to mention the CCTV and blink camera systems that are set up throughout the home to capture all of this activity and make it readily available for everyone to see the seemingly countless paranormal happenings that do occur inside of this home. Armed with the history, the lore, the evidence collected by other investigators, and our long list of paranormal investigative gear, we head inside of the home to determine for ourselves, are the happenings of this home truly paranormal, or are we able to debunk them? All right, we're starting off our experiments here at Haunted Hill House inside the portal room. We got my dad who's going to be starting off with an S-Day session. Inside with him, we've got an IR camera. We've got digital audio. He wants to be locked inside of there with the portals. We've got an Ovilus, a REM pod, SB7 Pro, and then on the outside, we're gonna have our EMF tripwire. We're gonna start an S-day session. Just like always, we're looking for 2 pieces of evidence to coincide. We'll see what we can find. Dad, you ready?
We're ready. Let's do this.
All right. Here we go. Into the portal. Understand that the owners told you that we were coming. Dr. Jason, Dr. Chad. We are physicians. We're here to investigate the paranormal just like so many other people inside of this house. We've heard incredible things. What did it just say? Page?
Page.
Page.
Is someone trying to page doctors?
We understand this used to be a makeshift hospital when the home was built in the late 1800s, is what we were told. Maybe.
So we've heard stories about what's happened here. Can you tell us what stories you know about this? Just simple one words. Hospital, patients, house, family. Can you tell us anything about what you know of the stories for this house?
If there's anyone here, can you let us know that you're here? In any way? So, Jason, we're 20 minutes into this. We had one word go off. I don't know. The portal seems to be inactive at the moment.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
Should we pull my dad out of the S-Days
Yeah,
and
let's
go and do experiment 2? Can you get anything through there?
I just can't. Every once in a while, I have the slightest little mumble, but I can't make out a word. It's just so slight.
Are you picking up any radio stations?
Not
Definitively?
Not definitively.
That's good. I mean, if
Yep.
something comes through there, then we know
Yep.
that it's
Yep.
unlikely to be that.
Right.
Okay. Well, otherwise, I think let's go ahead and stop experiment 1. We'll move on to the next.
Yeah, I think that's good.
The Scratcher Room is thought to be home to a male spirit who enjoys playing card games with visitors to the home. For the first 15 minutes of this investigation, we play several different card games, try different means of interaction, and have all of our equipment laid out, but without much response. But just when we began to think that the spirits may be inactive on our first night of the investigation, odd occurrences that we can't explain began to happen.
Tell me the name of one of the cards that you have, or tell me the cards that you would want to hold. I think there's 2 obvious ones you'd want to hold. Can you say which ones they are?
Okay.
Let's see.
And nothing.
next to you.
Next to me, okay, yeah, you would hold those.
Whoa.
Do we want to draw on the next 3?
Were those 2 aces right next to you?
Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to draw.
What's up? You hearing something? What are you hearing?
Do you hear any noises outside?
What did you hear?
It almost sounded like something almost outside, but it would be closer than that, like voices.
All right, we're going to start our tour at the Haunted Hill House with Jacob's room, one of the most famous rooms with activity that has been captured here at the Haunted Hill House. As we come inside, this one should be pretty recognizable. Jason. That was odd. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Okay, we were just trying to do an intro into Jacob's room. We walk in, the REM pod goes off. GoPro battery dies. which had been charged fully and didn't make a whole lot of sense. It was 97% when you saw it.
Show me how much battery's in that.
So this is the battery that we just took out. Obviously, we had to cut it because the battery died. So we pop that in. %51 now, but it died. Like, the GoPro died. Let's go back in there. We conclude night one's investigation upstairs on the second floor, where there are 3 bedrooms. The first of which is Joshua's room. Joshua is thought to be a small child that haunts the home. Oftentimes he is seen in the room and in the attic, which has direct access from his room. There's also Emily's room, where my dad is investigating. Now, Emily is not a spirit in the home, but it is believed that this was an actual person who lived inside of this home. It is inside of that room where it is believed the negative entity of the home, Toby, was actually summoned. And that brings us to the third room of the upstairs, which is in fact Toby's room. As we begin this investigation, I'm upstairs in Toby's room taking pictures with our UV IR camera. My dad is in Emily's room investigating with the Ovilus, and Jason is in Joshua's room.
I will say I just heard a noise. If I just heard you, can you either show yourself to me or come touch this lamp that's on the chair by the bed? I'm feeling a little gust of cold breeze here, guys. I thought I heard like a little chatter and then the cold. REM pod?
No.
It's got to be the REM pod. The K2's going off now.
It's temperature on this REM pod.
Karen, can you touch the red light?
Alright, my dad's starting to get Ovilus hits now. I think there's something starting to pick up maybe here.
Possibly. Maybe that.
Scratch.
Touch me, Karen.
Anyone feel a scratch?
Karen, I don't feel a scratch, but I
He scratches,
would
Jason.
appreciate it if
What'd she
you
say, over
actually did
800?
scratch me.
Yeah, there's a lot of scratches here.
What was that?
I heard that.
That didn't come from there.
No.
I almost heard it like it was back here.
Karen, was that you?
Did you heard that?
Karen, was
Sounded
that
like
you?
a little kid, potentially.
Karen, are you upstairs with us here now?
How good does the camcorder pick up?
Audio? I've got the...
Because the camcorder's running in there.
I do have the microphone attached to it.
Karen, we have a number of devices up here on the top floor. If you can touch any of the red lights.
That was the spirit box. That was the spirit box. REM pod? Temperature. I'm telling you, this whole bit started with that temperature change that I felt.
That you felt.
As we wrap up the investigation on night one, we head back to Command Central to process what just happened. As we all discuss the voice that we heard, Jason immediately plays back the digital audio from the recording device and believes that he hears the voice state, "Wasn't me."
What was that?
Now, that comes in direct reference when we were talking about whether or not someone was being scratched. But what we didn't know is that the odd occurrences were only just getting started and made us all believe that just maybe the wild paranormal activity inside of this home was real after all. one of the most haunted rooms inside the Hill House is Toby's room. Toby's room is thought to be home to a demonic entity. And this is where we're going to unleash one of our biggest investigations with the most amount of equipment that we have. Dad, say hi.
Hello.
Jason, you've got...
During the intro.
Yeah. I don't know. It says that we still have quite a bit of battery. I don't know how much of that you caught, but apparently the GoPro just shut off as I was giving the intro. We've got just about every piece of equipment that we have set up targeted at the very back of Toby's room to try and see if we can replicate. Okay, so my GoPro just died despite 57% battery. Jason, your SLS just died as well. REM pod's starting to go off. And that's not just temperature. Jason, do you think you can pull up your necrophonics so we can see if they can communicate to us?
Yeah. My ghost tube has never been fuzzy, it's fuzzy.
I wonder if it's the laser grid that's fuzzy or...
It wasn't like that before.
That is bizarre. The one piece that I didn't show you is there's a black box on the ground with a little red light on it. And if you go up and touch it, then it'll set off our spirit box where you can talk to us.
Yeah. Now it's crisp. So I don't know what was going on there.
Now the REM pod's going nuts. Yeah, it is. Hey, thanks for activating that. Earphones cleared out? Yeah. It's got to be the laser grid, right?
That thing's going nuts.
That's almost like that. Remember when we were at Feet Meet? We just had that burst.
I wonder if the music box is somehow interfering with that or something, because it's pointed the same direction.
I think Chad said the music box uses ultrasound waves. See, now it stops.
Yeah.
It's back. If it was a music box, it wouldn't pause like that.
Boy, I think it's going nuts now. Can you step away from that? Step. Whoa, this just went off. The tripwire. Boy, it's going nuts now. Can you step away from that? What did I say? What do you think it said? What do you think it said? I thought it whispered. Say it again. Say what you said in there again. Are you familiar with Toby? What? What? It said demon. Are you familiar with Toby? Did you hear?
Is there a demon in here?
I tell you to shh. Is that what it did?
Yeah.
Are we not supposed to say his name?
No.
No. Okay.
That gave me chills.
We'll stop talking about him. Now, we were here last night, and we were talking about getting scratched.
And there was a woman that we heard who said it wasn't me.
Did you make it come?
Did he make it come?
That's what I heard.
That's what I heard too.
I get out of this corner.
Okay. Why is that?
I want to say something.
Okay. You want to see if you were blocking something to cause the REM pod? Yeah. You did mention that earlier.
Yeah.
So if that theory's right, it should go off now.
Yes.
And it's not. I mean, if it was blocking something, it should immediately have sparked. Did you get, for any of the human spirits here, we're sorry if we scared you away with the talk of Toby. Let's play this out. Let's say that there's a demon named Toby. This woman that we heard last night came back and talked to us, said, did it come? And then she went away. Why is she going away? Why did everything else leave? When Dad, you asked it to come here.
Was that voice again, that woman's voice?
So we're back inside of like our command central. My dad just wanted to go right back up to Toby's room and do his own thing with no cameras. Like, look at this crazy man. Anyway,
Or fearless ghost hunter.
we were just recapping what just happened, and Jason, to make sure that we don't miss anything that perhaps wasn't on camera, this all started with the GoPro battery dying despite being 50-something% full. Your SLS on your phone went blurry, which is just weird.
Yeah, it always gives a crisp picture.
My dad's photos were blurry. Not just the photo, but through the lens, like as he was actively looking to take a photo. Then the REM pod went off.
Mm-hmm.
REM pod kept going off. REM pod went off on command.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like
with
you would say
colors.
green,
Yeah.
and it would do green, and I think you said blue.
And I
it
said
did
blue.
So it was two colors.
We mentioned the woman from last night,
Mm-hmm.
the scratcher, said, hey, we were talking about being scratched, and you said, wasn't me. And then that sounded like a woman's voice through the necrophonic, maybe the same voice, I don't know, we're going to have to go back and listen to it, said, did it come?
Yeah.
And at that point, we started to wonder if it was referring to the evil entity. At that point, my dad starts provoking the evil entity to come, and then all the activity died.
Well, and also he stepped into the room to try and block like the music box or the laser grid to just make sure that we
Yes.
weren't triggering the REM pod. And then he walked away, and it still didn't restart the activity that we saw before.
Now, I know that perhaps after editing this may not sound significant, but in this moment as we're piecing it together, like, I'm at the point we joke about demons a bit. I don't know that we encountered a demon. I have nothing to say of that. But that sequence and that narrative, a little rattled, I think, would be appropriate for me to say how I feel about this. Meanwhile, this crazy ass is right back there. You want to know where I get my craziness? That guy. All right, Jason, your turn to pick. Where are you going? Where are you going?
So the room I drew out of the hat was the poker room. So it is December 5th, 2024. Hill House, Mineral Wells, Texas. This is the poker room. Jason doing his solo investigation. So how do you want to communicate tonight? You want to... Let me look. No, that was black. Red, black. What's that card? Come on, I even poured you your whiskey. All right, I don't think you're talking into this. We're gonna stop that. You're gonna have to communicate other ways. What was that? Is there a girl or a woman in here? Or is my necrophonics still going? Now I hear Bob and Chad outside. But I think I heard... Is there someone in this room with me?
I decided to go into the little room where they would lock up, I guess it was probably Toby in the very back room.
Jacob.
Okay. And so I went into that back room, and I realized that when I went back in there, that I was directly above the room where Big Willie is, where Jason's talking now. And so I stood there and I listened to him talking, and all of a sudden I hear a and I hear Jason say, "What was that? Is there a woman here or something?" And so he made a record to go back and check for the audio. I heard the same audio from directly above him. It was not coming from his devices. It wasn't in my room. It wasn't in his room. It was somewhere in between the two rooms.
It was like in between the floor?
But it was just...
So like it was below you and above him?
And below me is his ceiling. So it's not a gimmick. There was a sound.
No
and
kidding.
What was that?
And that was it. So you asked
Was it
him
like a
about
whistle?
it. No, just like just a quick little moan.
What in the world?
I swear to you.
Oh my god.
Hey, you're gonna love this.
Dude.
Did you hear that voice?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was above you
Okay.
without realizing it at first.
Oh, you were up in... Is that Toby?
There's a little lock-off room where they used to lock the boy into.
Oh.
Turns out that that's the ceiling of this room.
Because that was so real to me. I
Me
thought
too.
I double checked my necrophonics
Yeah.
to make sure that it wasn't that.
Yeah.
It wasn't?
No, it was not the necrophonics.
It sounded like someone was standing next to me.
And it was.
Where-
It just went.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Where
heard
did it sound like? Was it like upstairs with you? Was it
I
down?
couldn't tell. It was just
Okay.
somewhere.
Because I thought that was in the room with me.
And I thought it was maybe somewhere in here for me.
Okay.
So it's in this corner.
It sounded like a child or a woman.
Yes. Heard the exact same sound you heard with my ears.
Huh.
Wow.
Well, let's go check that digital audio.
That
Yes.
was really freaking cool, dude.
What was that? Is there a girl or a woman in here? Or is my necrophonics still going? So I just completed my solo investigation in the scratcher room or the poker room. I was in there for probably 15 minutes, had the necrophonics, had REM pods, had the paralamp going. Wasn't really getting any responses, was asking something to call out cards or call out the roulette number. And after about 15 minutes, I just said, okay, nothing's happening, we need to try something else. So I went to turn off the necrophonics, and as soon as I did, I heard like a giggle or a moan, probably like right next to me, like clear as day, to the point where I wondered if it came from the necrophonics, but the necrophonics was off. I checked that, wasn't the necrophonics. The phone didn't make any more noise, so that was definitely off. And then I heard Bob upstairs walking around, and then he started saying something. Couldn't tell because I was in the room, but I heard that clear as day. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this was really exciting. I happened to walk back into a room that was directly above Jason doing his investigation, and I hear him call out that he's going to stop the necrophonics and look for another means to communicate. And all of a sudden, I hear this little girl moan. It's like, oh. And right after that, I hear Jason say, "What was that?" And now, as we're sitting here in the command center reviewing what we could hear on the audible, we can clearly hear the little girl moan, and then there's a little pause, and then there's like a blood curdling faint, almost like somebody's being murdered or something in the background. And so, I mean, this is pretty amazing.
What was that? Is there a girl or a woman in here? Or is my necrophonics still going? Is there a girl or a woman in here? Or is my necrophonics still going? Yeah, we didn't hear that second part with our ears. Right. We heard it going back listening to digital audio.
Guys, that second clip, everyone's going to be able to hear this amplified and cleaned up in real time, but that second sound does not sound good.
No, which is crazy. How does that happen in another realm or whatever that is?
I mean, it's like, it could be a residual haunt, a residual sound.
Or it's that demon thing again, right?
Or maybe the child's there,
and
something didn't want her, whoever that was there, and this is their way to stop them.
That just gave me the chills.
I don't know. We'll need to go back and look at video, see if there's anything on there, but
yeah,
that was wild.
Wow.
Damn.
That's crazy, man.
Well, you've seen the highlights of our investigation, but there are a few remaining factors to determine whether or not the evidence at the Haunted Hill House is in fact real. I want to begin with talking about the cameras in the home. When doing some research for this video, I came across quite a few Reddit threads that questioned the Blink cameras specifically inside of the Haunted Hill House. Now, this would actually make for a pretty critical piece for not only evidence that other people have captured, but also for the EVPs and the disembodied voices that we captured during our investigation. Can you step away from that?
What was that?
See, most Blink cameras have a two-way microphone. Not only will they record, but people are able to remotely speak through them. And as I was going through our evidence, I realized that this truly would be a critical piece to whether or not we could debunk some of the EVPs, or whether or not it would add a pretty chilling twist to everything that we captured. I researched Blink quite extensively and found that there are two models of Blink cameras that do not have a two-way microphone. They can still record, but there is no output audio. Knowing this, I messaged the owners asking them specifically if they could take a picture of the Blink cameras. See, during the tour, they made a point to show me the Blink cameras, but at that time I wasn't certain that there was some controversy surrounding them. So after the fact, when I messaged the owners, they immediately responded. I asked them to take specific photos, almost to coin the photos that they sent me. You can see those results here. I did not ask them what type of Blink camera it was, but after they sent me these photos, they stated that they received these as a gift when they purchased the home and believed that it was a Blink XT The Blink XT only has one-way audio incoming. There is no audio output on those cameras. I can say at least what my belief is based off of research of these Blink cameras and what I saw inside of the home. I don't believe that there's any way that the technology that is set up inside of the Haunted Hill House could in any way impact the voices that people hear or the EVPs that are captured. This is an absolutely critical point, and it makes me believe that everything, at least that we captured, is absolutely real. Let's go to the rocking chair. I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this chair, which is up on the second floor of Toby's room, would seem to go off at fairly convenient times in order to scare people inside of the home.
Get the fuck out of here. How did that go off?
What set it off?
What the hell?
We try and debunk things if we can. And as I've watched videos, I've always wondered, is this motion activated? Is it set off by vibration? Is it plugged in? We want to show this to you right now. First of all, motion-wise, nothing. And we have not yet experienced this to go off. So I don't believe it's motion activated. I do think vibration. Now, as we show this doll, which is, it's an attraction piece. Like, make no mistake about it. It is plugged in. I mean, it's a simple cord, but it seems to just be plugged in. There's no... Can you get that light down here? Are you able to see underneath here? There's no timer. I mean, this is just plugging in there. There's no timer set with it. There's nothing else that would trigger it to go off. This thing is purely vibration and touch. So for those of you saying maybe on a timer, that it may be motion activated, honestly, those were kind of some of my thoughts too. It's not the case. But also, we haven't had a gun off. I don't see that there's any way that the owners of the home would be controlling this, and the captures of paranormal activity of this chair going off previously by other investigators, I think could very well be real. Now the knocks. The knocks are difficult because the only chance that we had to experience the knock was during our tour, when there were two other people inside of the home and only one of them was upstairs on the second floor with us.
It's a girl that grew up in this house from the mid-90s to 2010. What the hell?
To further complicate this, we did think that the knock was going to be predictable. In fact, we even talked about it probably happening on our way to the home. This one's tricky. I don't know what to make of it. I couldn't find an explanation as to how the knock could have artificially been created. But as far as the knock goes, I just don't know on this one. Now, lastly, the other piece of evidence inside the home that we really want to take a look at is the viral clip of the woman being thrown off the bed. This video clip has been seen by paranormal investigators worldwide and has even been featured on network television shows. And I can tell you that Jason, my dad, and I spent a considerable amount of time trying to debunk this. In fact, we'll put together an entire other episode that you can watch to see just whether or not this could have been staged. But in our opinion, that doesn't seem to be the case. You can check out that video, see the link in the description below. If you've stuck around this long, we truly appreciate it, but I hope to reward you with this. The last piece of truly odd occurrence inside of the home is one that honestly is difficult for me to talk about. Ever since I've returned home, I have had some very strange occurrences happen to me, and it's difficult for me to talk about because, to be honest with you, I've never had a significant experience like this before, nor have I ever necessarily believed that this could happen. I have a dog, Max. We adopted Max about 1.5 years ago, and Max and my other dog, Penny, sleep in the bed, either with us or just next to me at night. Our bedroom door faces a hallway, so the dogs could exit if they need to during the night to go outside to use the restroom. Never once in the 18 months that I've had Max has he ever woken up in the middle of the night barking. In 2 of the first 3 nights upon returning from the Haunted Hill House, he woke up in the middle of the night barking feverishly at the hallway. Now, I couldn't see anything in the hallway. I immediately went back to sleep, and so did he, and I didn't think much of it. But as I started to put together this video, I noticed that every time that I would show an edit or a segment to one of my friends or to one of our team members, something odd would happen. I showed the clip of the voice that Jason and my dad heard to Jamie. And sure enough, I showed it to her. That night, Max again woke up in the middle of the night barking at the hallway. I put together the intro to this video and I showed it to my wife, Sarah. The very next day, she gets sick with COVID for the first time in 5 years. I put together the rest of the rough draft of this video as an edit and I send it over to my dad and Jason so that they can proof it for you to watch. Well, the first night that I sent it to them, again, Max barked. And at no point during this month period of time, other than the instances I've said to you, did Max wake up in the middle of the night barking. Well, Jason and my dad didn't watch the video the first night that I sent it to them. But the next day, both Jason and my dad watched it. That night, again, Max woke up barking. I followed him out into the hallway, only to see him staring into our front room and barking at something that I couldn't see. Furthermore, the cameras inside of our home didn't detect any noise that would have startled him or any movement that I could see. But the day after Jason watched the video, he had a terrible stomach bug, vomiting, diarrhea. He said it's the worst that he's had since we were both exposed to a pediatric rotation during medical school, well over 15 years ago. I don't know what to make of this activity. I told, reluctantly, some of my fellow doctors in my clinic when we were out one night, just before I released this video. I told them about the occurrences. Sure enough, the next morning, I wake up and the intro to this video had been corrupt. Why? I don't know. You know, when the owners of the home were telling us about all of the strange medical occurrences and strange things that would happen to people after they left the home, to be honest with you, I completely dismissed it. I'm beginning to think that was a bad decision. I hope you enjoyed the video. If anything odd happens to you after watching this, please leave it in the comments below. The validity of the hauntings of the Haunted Hill House lies solely in the eyes of the viewer. But us with Dr. Ghost Hunters, we firmly believe that not only is it real, but it followed me home.